Did you know he plays toggle aim?
He plays toggle aim?
He plays toggle aim, which we noticed playing together the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And, you know.
Why would you play? Like, how does that even work? You're not going to be able to strafe to the left in that case.
I know.
That is ridiculous.
He's a toggle aimer.
Okay. Well,
that's another problem. If you have any questions,
everybody has their preferences, I guess.
Direct them at him.
Armband. Okay.
Flores gone. Hibana gone. Makes sense. The removal of Hibana obviously limits some of those long distance breaks. You're looking at hatches. You're looking at the control there. It's pretty standard. The Kaid as that fight against it with hatches. Yep. The Flores has a drive. He has jobs he can do on this map.
I mean, I'm just going to say there has been some issues in the previous Elevate match with opening up some walls.
Yeah, they weren't brilliant at it.
No, somehow still managed to get away with a win. So it says something about their gun skill in the end. Mirror being removed. It's going to be that final ban we'll see here, at least in that one. There is going to be potentially 2 more. Now, I have a very tough time trying to figure out how this map and match is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I said to Demo, because Demo is like, I think FaZe will get it. I'm like, it could either be a quick 2-0 FaZe, or we're going to see Elevate just completely walk around him again, pushes to OT every single map, and they just take it in the end.
Well, I think that's the sort of stress here. Is obviously FaZe had a bit of a better run yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's what sort of got them the morning off this morning. For this game, they were able to take their first against OXG in the upper bracket after getting out of it, and then they dropped against Liquid. They lost against Liquid, fell to the lower bracket from that point onwards. Elevate, obviously, they've already had a bit of a rocky road. They dropped a little bit earlier, but fought their way a bit further forward, got themselves into a new situation, and obviously, spoiler alert for a game that happened just before this one on the A stream, OXG succeeded. OXG have kept themselves alive as well. So the fight that FaZe did, they're obviously strong opponents. They're still here fighting. They just took out Damwon Kia.
Yeah, and that makes Elevate the only APAC representative left for you. So they kind of want to live on. They kind of want to be the best of APAC, which they would achieve if they take the win against FaZe here, because then they will be at the highest placing of any given APAC team here at the 6th Invitational 2022.
Playing for APAC right now, team, and that is it. That is that sort of mark of stress. And, you know, they were a roster that hadn't had a huge LAN experience. They're obviously perpetually not quite at LAN, but here they've been able to put in a great showing. They've shown up for a lot of people and brought this exciting siege down on Kia. They just couldn't quite get any of the momentum that they've had before, and here it's time for the remaining hopefuls to see if they can open it up against FaZe, a team that obviously came into this as maybe not everybody's favorite, but they were definitely in a lot of the top 5, top 6 predictions for a lot of people. Here, forced all the way back down green. They're going to be shepherded down into the site itself. The LMG, as we've seen throughout this tournament frequently, puts a bit of hefty stress down onto those players and puts them in an uncomfortable situation. Onigiri, the man of the moment, earlier on, he's ready to watch some flanks.
He's ready to watch those flanks, Dean. It's actually not Onigiri now that is playing on the DMR. He's moved over towards the Yana, so a bit of a different role that he will be filling right now. No longer really a flank watch, but more of the entry player on the side of Elevate. And if you drop 28 kills, 27 kills, I mean, on the map, that is quite logical that you're going to be giving him some more freedom there. Hatches will be opened up with the Ken openers. We'll be providing extra angles towards Super Aster, towards Souls, who are currently, well, basically locked into those blue stairs. And there's going to be a really tough way out here for them. Need to cross.
A lot of ADS is ready to go. The shotgun, close quarters, and obviously the watch on the back. They've sort of doubled themselves in on blue, and obviously with the hatch gone, as you said, they've got to cross it. But Elevate has to sort of be that pressure point. They have to draw some attention and some focus. They've got to burn this, and there it comes. They're looking for potentially the second here, hoping to catch the rotate on the way around. They're trying to bait out the play. There is going to be more of a burn. The Grismods and the flash absolutely everything. The slow creep there of a shotgun round towards the top. They're going to see if they can get a catch, but we just heard some ADSs whir themselves back into line. A big burst of utility hasn't quite come together. They're going to do another canister, another push back on that barbed wire. The drone is just getting that intel, getting that read, but this is so much time that is otherwise coming against them, and there, as they're able to get rid of that gate on the drop hatch, the shotgun finally finds one, finds two! It's looking for a third, and he's hungry for more! And it's a huge opening there for FaZe. 4 bodies, 1 staircase on Agiri, all that's left.
Well, it's time to start working on your stat padding here on Agiri for as much as you need. 10 seconds on that clock, see if you can pick up any of these kills. That's one to start it off, just many to go. Feet get spotted out, player down there. There's nothing really he can do to try and win this, so just assigns the player around the hatch. See if he can find anything. Not the case. And FaZe, they will lock it off with a...
And we're back in.
And we're back in. We're going to open area. And as these 6 picks will come through, it was a bit of a... It's difficult, right? I mean, there's always going to be someone on those blue stairs, and it's most of the time going to be shotgun. You kind of need to follow up with the utility you toss in. That's not really what we saw. We saw the utility being tossed in, ADS has come back active again, and after that they start pushing with 3 members, but all one by one. And of course you don't want to just all run at the very same time. You might TK, but like this as well. If it's a shotgun and you give just enough time to get the pump ready for the next player to move through, then you are just going to be picked apart by Souls. Playing with that shotgun just a second ago. This time will be on the Alva.
Elevate. You've had that moment as FaZe got their headset swapped out to see if you could try and tie something else together. It was a big start. Bit of a blunder, but better have that now, and you can still build from it than at the end when you don't really have anywhere else to go and it maybe matters a little bit more. The stretch here for FaZe. They've been able to get themselves that opener. They're opening up the stretch of Bank, which is obviously their map pick, and Elevate will need to try and get themselves off to a better start on their half of their preference. The attack here, which is that sort of back and forth for them. It's not always been their smoothest factor, regardless of their famously aggressive playstyle.
Yeah, for sure not. And they now need to find themselves a way into the open area. It might be a little bit more friendly to be entered from. Actually, Onigiri already in that basement. Not even 30 seconds past, and he's already watching the hatch, hoping to see someone sneak into the side office here. He's playing on that bit of a lurker role here to create an opening as soon as the pressure starts to arise on the FaZe camp. He's already getting quite close here, right behind the teller's office. He needs to be careful, of course. He's in quite a bit of an open area. Cameraman has locked himself in, though. Spot seemed to be coming through, and he might be debating whether or not he should go for a drop. That could actually play into Onigiri's position, as I just see actually rotates away from that current position. So he's going up. He's going to try and put some pressure down onto the kitchen door, whereas the rest of Elevate seems to be together again, but on the western side of the map.
They're trying to get that early lead in, trying to find a body there and trying to just pull something about it. Obviously, Sapper suffered just a scratch with that hard destruction, which could come at that bit of an expensive cost if caught out early. Sapper is sort of an unfortunate hit-and-miss player sometimes, and, you know, he's pulled off some pretty big heroics on Bank itself, but getting the connection at the right time in the right place, it's something that you don't want to lose early. Your carrier, your kit, and your hard destruction. A close swing might happen here for Cameraman, but it's actually Bullet that opens it up, takes rid of Onigiri. The drone gets the reveal on the player. The swing comes through, but Nerix entirely caught out there. Cameraman with the pre-fire sort of anticipated the pull and the push, and that's that game sense that's netted them a second. And now Sapper, he's a little bit stuck inside Archives.
He's definitely going to be stuck in there, indeed. Doesn't really know how to get out. Wants to open up, but this Bullet is going quite aggressive on the blue stairs here. It's Nay that is down onto 1 HP. The hatch gets opened up, and well, he now again finds himself with a double blue stack up here on the side of FaZe, who are looking to go quite aggressive up those stairs. Cyber is going to push out. He gets the kill. Souls follows up with one as well, and as DCH gets picked up in the basement by Cameraman, it's a flawless round for FaZe.
Oh, that was a vicious defense. FaZe have come into this server with a huge amount of heat, and they made sure that Elevate felt it. Taking that initiative, taking those pre-fire fights where they're able to actually win out, regardless of the intel that comes against them, based on the sense that I'm going to be swung. Someone is going to put pressure onto me. There were the pings at that sort of kill in the bottom of square, sure, but it's still the communication of, well, here's the drone on one side, this is what they like to do, and I heard some footsteps before. It's that energy that FaZe has against a team that has a lot of energy.
For sure, and with that, FaZe are leading in 2-0, and quite convincingly as well. We've only had 2 kills in total of the side of Elevate, and if you then think back towards the first game they played today, when they were up against Rogue, on that third map on Oregon, for a while there were a lot of players that only had that singular kill. The differentiating factor back then was Onigiri, who had 11 by the time that someone dropped the second. He really kept them in it back then, and for now at least, FaZe, the aggression that they bring, the freshness that they still have for this game is what makes them start strong here.
Now, FaZe, onto your tertiary site and Elevate. They haven't quite found that connection at all. 2 kills across 2 rounds, and neither was really in a position where they could try and build from it or get behind it. Obviously, one was an exit on the previous round, and the other wasn't too much later in the round. It's that sort of unfortunate start, and a stumble, as I said, with FaZe, with a lot of heat, a lot of pressure. It is their map, but at this point, you question, unfortunately, if the other team's been able to make it into the game yet. It's the approach here. The ping on the Valk cam and the idea that they're not that far away because that only just came up. Cyber, he wants to go for a bit of aggression here, and you can see that Nay is sort of being fed and filtered a couple of tracer shots through soft walls. Cyber is refusing to stand down.
He's not standing down yet. Indeed, he looks to go for a bit of a flank as Sebrastro coming in quite close as well. Bullet taking a lot of damage. The flank comes through. That is Nay that has been taken out. There's still a player prone in Detailer's area, though. It's Onigiri that is going to be able to be picked up as well as he whiffs his own shots. It's a 5-on-3. A double entry yet once again. It's FaZe that starts so strong here. And Elevate is yet to try and find an answer to whatever FaZe keeps on bringing, keeps on throwing at them. Their aggression definitely seems to be not working out right now for Elevate.
The Zero is going to set themselves up, surmising angles to the players up on the top. There is obviously one on the Kanso corner, and well, DCH was trying to eye up a fight at that moment in time, but couldn't quite get the angle they wanted. Cyber sure has it, though. He's going for one more on the big windows, waits for the upside down repel, but Souls, he's trying to catch him before he gets there. There's another take. This one is into the favor of Nerex, finds his first, but forced back by the smoke. Just over a minute left on the clock. Another call, just to buy themselves some ground as Bullet tries to retake his own inside tellers where bodies have already been strewn across. He sees the ping of previous players, and well, attackers once lay there, and now he's trying to put an attack on of his own. A rotation round green doesn't quite catch him off as he slips his way back in, but it's a slow rebuild. An attempt to pinch a player that's already sort of gone past.
Yeah, he's trying to rotate out here. A lot of time will be wasted with that as well. The Elevate players are down on that ground floor, currently far from the side. Won't be able to actually push up yet. And as the time slowly dwindles, 30 seconds left on that clock, nothing will probably happen. They might be able to pick up one, but with the health that Sepper is currently in, then well, no more smoke canisters, but still a lot of guns on the ground. It's going to be a shotgun around the corner. 1 and 2 will be coming through as well. Cameraman locks it off, and it's FaZe with a 3-0 clean start here on Bank.
3 rounds, 3 kills. For Elevate currently, I believe they have really been absolutely blindsided by this defense here that phases. I mean, it's hard to sort of break down where things are disconnecting right now because there is just seemingly a massive disconnect between these two teams. FaZe have entirely been running this. There hasn't really been a whiff or a moment where Elevate's even sort of put pressure onto a site at this point. They're hitting very early doors and finding them locked.
That's it. Basically, the first point of contact that FaZe set up is exactly where Elevate gets stuck. And it's not at all like what we're used to be seeing from them compared to the previous game we had with them. There is a bit of a change up though. I'm not quite sure how well this will work out, but Onigiri has decided to, instead of the Yana, swap over to a Amaru. The only worry I'm having with this is the fact that it's the basement. Now we might see... Okay, listen up.
Give me a listen up.
Open up the hatch.
Yeah.
Drops through. Assassinates one of the players.
Okay.
And goes back up because he has the opportunity.
It's a bit of a dream scenario.
The only way to get back out of that hatch.
Sure, but let's paint a scenario of how that has to happen, or what would need to happen for that to work. First of all, you got to get in and get the hatch, which is solid. Now, Kaid's off the board,
It's
so
hard for each
you got some self-destruction and hard destruction that isn't going to be tempered by anything, but at the same time, you make a lot of noise. And when you make a lot of noise, Amaru isn't always at her best. Because there's other places where you could try such a thing, but it doesn't mean it's going to be successful. And, well, at that point, what would you need? You'd probably need smoke canisters. Oh, they haven't got any smoke canisters.
Yeah, but there's also no one on the side. Right now. We just have Souls and Astro.
Oh.
What about they push in from the garage? Go quick. Go to the side. And they get the first entry.
Cameraman is in garage. They have at least a single body there to stop it. But here, finally, Elevate have been able to find that opener, find a body, and there is no instant response. Bullet is gone. You've lost the arena, you've lost a quick movement and a bit of aggression, and that sort of gun the conflict ground. You assume all the gadgetry was already well played and placed at this point, but look at this. Those FaZe players are pulling themselves back down towards the site. The retake of Archive. So many bodies in open, and a drone does get the call. No bullets are going to come through the soft, but he seems prepared for the chance of the fight. They headed up, and he didn't see it because the sight on the gun blocked him out.
Wasn't quite going to expect him to be up those top square stairs after that drone. Managed to find Cyber Zero. Onigiri now on that chase, however, has that big G3. I think it's a G3, I don't know. It's the LMG at least that is in the hands of IQ, but also on Amaru. It's going to be not as big as the others, not the 151 bullets, but still goes quite well. DCH with a bit of support from below, but Onigiri gets tagged out just slightly though. A single shot from the MPX is not going to be harming him too much here, and as this challenge continues, a drone will be thrown out to try and figure out where exactly he is at this moment, because Cyber is definitely in a position to hurt the rest of Elevate like big time.
Well, he's caught. That was 2 stories in a setup there. They had an idea where the player was, but that was about a minute that was focused on that single force. And yeah, you got to get rid of them as the roaming Valk, but at the same time, now you've got less time to try and direct yourself towards the site itself. Astro, he's holding off on those green stairs, and Cameraman was still in garage, but might pull himself back. They have the smoke. If a default plant is attempted, that sort of long-range way to disturb and defer anybody that tries to deposit a kit onto the floor, but 40 seconds, and they're still quite spread out, and DCH is trying to potentially find souls on that big vault hatch.
Don't want to say anything, but Onigiri is currently on the elevator hatch, just ready to drop. He's droning it out first, and well, soon they will find out that Astro is inside the little side office with Cameraman on those main stairs, and as Astro stays prone here, doesn't even have his hand on the mouse. He's like, if I don't move, they won't know. It's actually Sepper that enters first. He is with that diffuser. That might be dangerous, but 14 seconds left. They need to make a push happen here. Smoke canisters are being used on the vault hatch, and that means that they now need to push through from the elevator side of things. There is one man on the ground, however, picks him up, and somehow two! What is that shot? Absolutely amazing, and it's only up to DCH, and they start off with an entry, but FaZe starved them out of time, and they're up 4-0.
I mean, okay, here's my 2 thoughts. 1, that MPX shot, unbelievable. 2, but it's a Latin American team with an MPX on bank, and that's like a famous recipe for unbelievable. That's, you know, you can never really create unbelievable. You can never really predict unbelievable, but you can sure put a few factors that seem to have a similarity in making that word pop up. And for me, my money, bank, Latin America, and an MPX.
What a shot that was. It's amazing. Also the 416 from the Jaeger on the ground there. Able to pick up 2. Important. Diffuser dropped, of course, if no one was in sight. That, I believe, is the B-bomb site. Not the one into... is it lockers? I think it's lockers. That bomb site. Either way. 4-0 FaZe are starting very strong here in Elevate. Well, they managed to get to the site this time, just with not too much time left. They had to push 15 seconds, and maybe if they were a little bit quicker on the trigger when they had that top floor under control, they dropped the hatches a little bit earlier, they would have been able to make something happen, force themselves through, because they also just had to make sure that they would have droned out the site to make sure that these mistakes that came through at the end were not the ones that stuck. In the end, they did. And that's an interesting Valkyrie camera that instantly gets shot. So Cyber is like, all right, I might toss up a second. I might just toss it out somewhere else. I think that one does roughly the same. You can still look out the window to see someone is rappelled up, just not up to the same angle. So it's going to be a bit tilted. You can only see the first couple of windows, not all of them. Whereas you can still hold the lobby, of course.
Your arrow is a 416, I'm done.
Yeah, it was a 416.
I don't know why I thought.
It's fine.
I don't know why I thought it was.
I mean, we had the MPX with an entry kill here.
We did have an MPX earlier, but I don't know why. It's been such a long. I'm so sorry, everybody.
But we have had a long, like,
I am so sorry. You know what? Technically, I'm not going to retract that because there was still an MPX and it was still.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say
it was still part of the math. Shut up.
I wouldn't hit that shot that he made either.
See, I'm dumb. Give Jaeger an
MPX.
Jaeger an MPX. So I'm correct, please, devs that are listening. I'm sorry, I lied to everybody, but still. It was still amazing.
Phone calls coming through, and that means the pressure might be as well. And you saw it right there as the drone gets taken out by Cyber, instantly followed up by a couple of shots from the ECH. He falls back, however, and as the phone calls will be disabled on the last members of FaZe, there's a bit of pressure coming in from the top floor. Nate as well, ready with a breaching charge, but he doesn't quite want to put that up yet. So afraid he might lose his feet, which of course not the case. Soul's not in a position to cancel that one out. Wait till the detonate as well until both of them are safe and ready to go. Might even wait for a bit of a later moment to go for a bit of a cheeky distraction there. Please wallbang that person if you have a yellow ping.
Well, there are other pings coming out, and it's Zappa that actually finds the first there onto Souls. They lose the Maestro and the Alder, and those cameras are going to remain a little bit more static than they were, but if the bubbles are still up but not popped yet, they'll still give some swing and some idea. It's a big fight on blue once again. Cameraman, who is still yet to die this game, is trying to find engagements, and there's two players that definitely won't be. Cyber and Bullet, both removed. 100% no MPX this round. Astro and Cameraman, all that is left to try and stick in against the best push we've seen Elevate do so far, and now it is just Astro, and he cannot find anything from 4 losses in a row.
To a flawless round. And normally I wrote down the winning reason, but like there was no real push that came through. It's just kills everywhere over the map that basically led them to this point.
It was a flawless last time we were in open as well, but the other side.
Yeah, back then it was FaZe that had the flawless by skirmishes, and basically the round played the same basically as the last time. However, this time every single gunfight went into the way of Elevate compared to the other way around.
Exec and CEO. The last chance for Elevate to try and pull something here on their attacks, and, you know, things can build here. A 4-2 on their attacks, not on their map, as a bit of a slow start here against FaZe that came in absolutely cooking. Is one of those moments. The swap to the Amaru once again. Iana is taken off, and I guess maybe it'll have a little bit more success here. Maybe. You don't have to come up with as many faux reasons for where she might be able to strike.
Listen, I love the theory craft, alright? Maybe, right, I'm just gonna say something crazy, and Nagira just goes with the Janitor hatch. I doubt it, 'cause it's pretty much not gonna be having fun if Astro's on the other side of a shotgun. But yeah, you know, there's crazy ways to play. Possibly, we might even see a bit of a quicker pace up to that top floor, where the top of square instantly gets taken by a Nagiri, who just sweeps up there, instantly pushes right towards the Janitor instead. You know, there's multiple ways around it.
Yeah, there's a handful. A handful of ways, and you can see the drones on the far side, and up topped in the plant to try and get the call and the read. Anyone that might be holding off onto square, it's stacked up on a Giri. Which window are you going to choose, my friend? Because nobody is really home to stop this right now. There he is. He's up, he goes. He's making a huge amount of noise, looking for the fight there onto Janitors. They don't quite have the connection, and he's so close to a player. They're still opening rotations, and they're still opening angles, and there's one. They're already on the top of square as well, and it's a second spray. Doesn't get the connection. Bullet locks it off on a back line and saves them just as you could see the rest of Elevate was starting to get themselves stacked up for some potential. It was a bit of an early strike. Napier's going to drop that camera instantly and go for the pre-fire with the LMG just to see if anyone goes on the move behind it. But Cyberzera with the C4, he's looking for the fight there onto the stock door. And, well, Nater is a poor time to go on their camera. They're going to need a pickup. But if Cyber gets a read on this, he's more than able and likely to go for a swing, whether flat across or underneath.
If only there was withstand now. Not going to happen, of course, and Sapper might be swung here on the Janitor door, and Cameraman will be able to pick that one up as well. The diffuser has been dropped cold. They look for a way to pick up Nay, but as there is going to be an extra player on the Janitor door, Nerix is well aware now. There is a player down there with the shotgun, but there's a smoke canister that gets popped. It is at least going to slow it down even a little bit more so. Nerix is afraid that it might be a cam. He's looking around. He's like, how do they know that I'm right around the corner? I haven't been making any noise. And Cyber, as he checks the corner as well, Bullet that gets dropped. Nerix from a very long angle here picks up another kill.
Cyber wants to go wider and wider right now. He's trying to find just an angle on this as DCH blows his way all the way in. He's got to go now or never to get an A back up. He should be fighting fit in just a second with some time still left in the clock. They can try and rebuild this, but a wide shotgun swing is, well, it's about to happen. Just saw the side of an elbow and cameraman tried to see him back, drops the drone and another canister. He's wasting a huge amount of time here on the kit. It makes things a bit awkward because at this point from Elevate's side, what do we go to do? We're looking to see if we can pull another body out of the side itself. They've still got some of this stock control. They still have some flashes and some calls and some plays they can try and put across. They know that player's inside and Souls knows too in the corridor. And now the 3 versus 1 gets a great take on the shotgun, gets a spray through and scratches the side on the surface of Cyber, but with 30 seconds and in janitors now, it's the pop from Souls.
So was it a 3K or was it a 4K there? I'm not quite sure. Either way, it is going to be him that locks it off. And after Onigiri went in quite quickly, he manages to get that very first kill. Saw the smoke first, still making the rotations, but decided, okay, hold off for there. We first get the player in Janitor, we then swap back. It's just the player that came back towards the side from the banana that was able to shut him down before he did too much damage to the side of FaZe, who are now up 5-1. And you know, it is never impossible to make a comeback happen. We have seen many across the board. However, this feels like quite a tall ask. Like only these last 2 rounds, Elevate has really been close to the side. That'll be closer because they're on the defense, but I'm just sort of saying, like, FaZe has been pretty confident and pretty demanding so far.
I think that's the thing, is it's not every time that when you get to a map that is a selected map, it is so obviously a team selection. It is so obviously defined by a team and the pace that they can put on here, and FaZe just had pretty much total control on their half, on that side, and now obviously Elevate, well, they have 1 buffer. 1 round and 1 slip-up that will allow them that extra breath before they're trying to claw back as many as they can to keep themselves a little bit level into this showdown. And at this point, when you're obviously looking at Dostoevsky up next, which is a map that FaZe have been able to take against Cyclops, against the sort of, you know, other region team, and it's not the most out there. They also took it, I believe, against SSG as well during groups as well. It's not going to be a straightforward fight on that second map.
It's definitely not going to be. At least, the Elevate should be having a little bit more to say about their attacking rounds out there. But overall, I don't know what it is, but it just don't seem that coordinated that compared to that previous game we've seen them play against Rogue. And FaZe, completely a full tank to go with still as well. And that might be the most dangerous thing. FaZe, who haven't played a game yet, of course, besides their scrims. Whereas Elevate has had a absolutely grueling best of 3, where in the 3rd map it didn't really seem like they had a chance for a very long time. It wasn't for Onigiri, who was 11 kills at some point, whereas the rest of his team only had 1. That kept them in it, and suddenly it all turned around. Suddenly the whole team woke up, and that might still happen. It could still happen this game. But you always start wondering, is it too little too late? If you then lose it, yes it was. If you come back, then it is a great story.
FaZe over the top, getting the read on intel. Cyber is finding a wall of the threads of that utility and making sure that it is entirely pinged and covered. They're still formulating an idea here, and as windows start to pop on the east side and the stack up starts to come onto square, that idea is starting to turn into more of a push. DCH, he wanted to meet them at the pass there for a second. That drone means he's got to play himself just a little bit further back, as well, that drone's number, but also has a little bit of support from utility. The Banshee, the ADS, is just in a position there so they can't get a quick and aggressive swing on it.
Not yet, at least. He has a very good drone here as well. Camera, rather. Finds these drones that the attackers, knows that there might be a little push coming in from the ATM side of things, and he's also in a position to try and challenge that if that's the case. Big worry, however, is that this side is already being opened up. There is currently a couple of repels on the side of FaZe, or ones that can quickly translate into repels, and Souls is knocking at the door. He has that diffuser. He could go for a plant at any given second right now. and they just need to try and hold them off. There is still that player in Janitor. Nerix is going to be that big decisive factor as Astro gets an opening kill, but he trades out with Enagiri himself instantly as well. So a trade opening on the other side, which at least provides a bit of an opening to FaZe, but at the same time, Elevate, they have to deal with one less player.
Souls find Sapper, and now with 20 seconds, they're going to see if they can try and throw themselves inside, but DCH is still causing problems on those white stairs. They're in though, but they're not going to stick the diffuser for very long without Janitor's control. Nerix gets an easy pickup, goes for the second as wide as he can, and he's able to find the cover of DCH on the far side. Cameraman, all that's left with a pistol and a dream, but they lock him out 5-2.
Nerix in the janitor there. Janitor. Really crucial.
Alright, it's been a long day.
It's been a long day, but really crucial. Able to pick up the diffuser as it went down. He was still in that position, not really challenged upon that point. And I said it, you know, there is players up on the rappel, but as soon as everybody jumps in, no one is holding off that long angle. And oh, maybe it was also not the best place to go for the plant. Maybe the desk would have been a better choice to run deep right behind the bomb chassis, considering that Nerix would have had to go a little bit wider in that case, allowing the rest of his team to cover off a little bit better on the side of FaZe. But Elevate, they start their comeback. That's the first round on the board. Well, did they get the entry? Did they not? I'm not quite sure because they both killed each other at the very same time. So it's an entry for both teams. Everybody gets an entry. But they managed to hold on. And even though FaZe managed to push through the side, they opened it up, they started to get in. It's just that Janitor that hasn't been cleared out, and that is crucial in the end. You need to take control of Janitor if you want to plant in that position. There's no other way.
Open. And, well, a site that's been a bit back and forth. The only site that Elevate were able to take on their attack, and it was a flawless take. So I guess if you're an Elevate fan, or you're an APAC fan, you're hoping that they have a little bit of that flawless energy about themselves as they find themselves setting up for maybe 5-3, maybe only a difference of 2, and it still puts them in a pretty rocky situation going onto their tertiary site, but still, yeah, better than a 6-2.
You know what I actually liked is when before on the analyst desk they highlighted the plant capacity of FaZe.
Yeah,
I was just giggling at that moment. I'm like, Elevate has had one plant in like the last 18 attacking rounds they've played.
The weird thing is, when they came into this, they had a huge amount of plants. Before they came into this day, they were on like 22 plants. I believe it was it was a high number,
but didn't get much higher, and they weren't able to put up a single plant either in that past half. And well, FaZe is looking to change that, of course, in the second attacking round now. Nerix up on that top floor is trying to hold on as much as he can with Onigiri, who is back on his Mark 14, his beloved DMR. He's able to pick up so many kills with, and that is something I highlighted as well. The impressive thing about him dropping that kill record before is not just because he's on an entry. He's on flank watch, but at the same time also using 7 different operators in that game. So he's doing it with multiple guns. Whereas Bulla is trying to go for a bit of a hunt now with that ARX, looking for the opening inside of the archives here. We'll be finding either a way towards those main stairs soon, or might be trying to open up with some friends into the small side office.
FaZe, they've been able to get themselves locked in across the front of archives. They're seeing if they can get across the little small box room in between. It's soft, and with an angle that they're just going to hold and hope they can catch a rotate. This cameraman starts to do a little bit of construction work here on this back line. It runs that route, that corridor over the face of the elevators. There was that watch and that rotation, and Onigiri just ducks the bullets and keeps himself aware. They don't think that they can get a full lock-in, but they're still setting up. They're still putting the pressure onto the quad wall, and they get that open with not a huge amount of resistance by the looks of it.
Nay, in the meantime, has rotated up to the top floor, used the elevator hatch to move himself up. He has instantly moved towards these main stairs, though, but it's a way to get to the displays without really being spotted out, because the angle was being watched at that moment in time, so Cyber might not actually expect him to be here, and as he slowly creeps around to the right, he might just get his head removed very soon here. Snake continues to hold off. Souls takes a lot of damage in the meantime, and these kills start happening, but Nay still in that position to wait.
There's a rotate that's gone over to the top as well. He's about to find a fight right at the top of the stairs, but Nerix has it covered. Goes for the second, just misses it though. Cyber, Zera, and Bullet find one apiece, and now with the spray all the way deep to the diffuser, they're cold, but it's absolutely boiling in the side itself. Nerix, all that's left, misses the spray onto the first. They can't quite get the kit. 20 seconds, they get the player instead. FaZe, 1 round away from looking out their map.
Side pressure coming through there from FaZe, just picking them up one by one, whereas there is still some roamers up top. The cover was sort of there, but in the end, didn't quite hit it quite yet. And that is 4 map points now for FaZe. 4 rounds where they can try and clear it out and send Elevate with one leg up to that plane back to home. Of course, Elevate wants to prevent that, and there is still maps coming up where they have the opportunity to. Cafe, Villa, those are maps 2 and 3. Of course, we don't know if we reach Villa. We know we go to Cafe at some point. Could be within a round, could be within 4. As Locker CCTV will be chosen next by the side of Elevate. This is where they need to start that comeback. They need a flawless rotation and more than that. 4 rounds in a row. Not a single mistake they can make, or at least not a big mistake they can make. So otherwise, someone will have to step up and make amends for it. At least they're starting to come alive a little bit, right? You see some kills starting to flow in on some of the members. They are still behind on FaZe, logically so, after 4 rounds of a difference here. But maybe it proves hopeful for map 2. For APAC, as this is their last representative still inside the tournament. And they surely want to go through. They want to show what they're made of. And the team is having so much fun when they play as well. It is just a pleasure to watch.
I mean, they had a slow start to this map. And, well, now they're going to have a flawless finish to try and claim it. Make sure that they can do this in 2 rather than 3. Remembering they had 3 very long games earlier on in the day. FaZe, they've hit this so clean so far. They made sure that they did all the work they needed to on their defense, and now it's just a matter of making one more connection with the site. And here, Lockers might be that next approach. The stretch and the extension with the castle, with that Prisma combination gives them a little bit more on the swing round. They have that singular hard wall to play and put some pressure here from Kitchen. If they want to pull back, they can. You can see FaZe, they're picking themselves up. Is this a big garage rotate by the looks of it?
Seems to be a small garage rotate at least. There's one person, Bullet, first one in. Well, not in yet, but the drone will be. And Souls is following as well. There seems to be a little bit of a idea to go around here that the garage might be somewhat free to enter. And they might be right about it, because Bullet is the first one to go through. Super Astor just Spider-Man's down as well, and they are starting to go for the push. It's only Sapper indeed. And as he is rotating over towards red, it seems like Nerix might be aware, because he's descending these stairs. There is something not right. Nay back on the side as well. They start to realize that something is tricky right here.
That's it. There was that moment of Elevate when they said, well, where are they? He said, well, there's one place we don't know, and that is garage. And instantly, they try and flood themselves back. 2 extra players drop down to site, and as the pressure starts to come across here, you'll likely see a little bit more offer themselves some support. Nay and Nerix, they're locking in the door here, making sure that Souls can't get himself much further. The shotgun is popped and ready to rock here, hoping the Maverick makes a little bit of a mistake on a drop.
Might. No, not yet. Stands up, runs away, gives away his position, so cameramen know he escapes with his life there. Still a 6 and 2, a minute left on the clock, and again a rotate will be called. It seems like they need to change, but Cyber gets an entry kill.
Cyber with that early one there against Onigiri, not quite able to get that locked in. DCH on a big flank round has got his way, but Cyber, he's behind you. He goes for a drop and takes it. Nerix, in the meantime, gets bullet inside the site. Now it's a deep line across the top. They've lost the hatch, and Cyber's on a triple here, but he's sort of hungry for more. There's one back in the vault and one by the bottom of the elevator shafts. Nerix, he's at least saved by Sapper, who has that lockdown on the far side round, and Nerix is, well, not going to be able to save him entirely from that, but he's able to pop off at least another.
Diffuser there.
There's a swing onto green. There's the possibility that player, Souls, has got it recollected, and the 15 seconds is going to be used to try and take that to the other side, but there he is, and can't quite get it out. FaZe lock the map almost, stopping the inevitable, but on there, was there anything that would stop that FaZe?
I don't know. I mean, that FaZe looked really strong, and as they pointed at the screen, it's like, look, got the FP animation. It's the IQ that's going off. You don't see it, but we do, of course.